Welcome to Santa Monica, California. A little bit of a cold morning today. But today we're going to talk about a legendary comedic actor and a Hollywood legend. Now, when you think of classic comedy duos, you probably think of three different ones. You probably think Abbott and Costello, Martin and Lewis, and Laurel and Hardy. Today's video is going to be about Stan Laurel. Now, Stan Laurel was probably one of the gold standards of comedy, especially early on. Now, he was born in 1890 in England. He was a famed actor, a director, just an iconic writer, and he was half of the comedic duo Laurel and Hardy with his counterpart Oliver Hardy. Now, the two of them appeared in 107 shorts, films, cameo roles. Stan Laurel originally started off, he developed his skills in music hall sketches, and he became Charlie Chaplin's understudy, and he officially started his career in 1917. Then he teamed up with Oliver Hardy for a film in 1921, and the two of them became an official comedy duo in 1927. Now, the two of them appeared exclusively until Oliver Hardy's death in 1957. But this home in front of me used to be an apartment complex called the Oceana, and it is now a five-star hotel and resort right across from the Pacific Ocean. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more. I should say that after Oliver Hardy passed away in 1957, Stan Laurel never really worked again. He didn't really make any more public appearances, but he moved into apartment 203, which is this one on the second level in the center of the picture. But that was Stan Laurel's apartment. He moved in here in 1958, June of 1958, with his wife Ida, and he lived the rest of his life here in this apartment, and this is where he actually passed away also. But he had a beautiful view because right across the street is not only this park here, but from his balcony, he could actually see the Pacific Ocean. When visiting locations like this, I always like to give you kind of a general feel for the location, for the neighborhood, the surrounding areas. But we're walking around the building now, and we're going to go out back to see where Stan Laurel might have, where he might have parked his car if he had a car, or anything like that. Obviously, living here for many years, he probably walked through this alleyway many, many times, but we're going to show it to you. Doesn't exactly look like anything special today, but this would be where the garages were, where if Stan and Ida had a car, they would have parked right back in here. Spent quite a few years, the last years of his life here. These garbage cans are massive here. Now we'll go out front again and I'll show you a little bit more of the apartment and the location and tell you just a little bit more. And then after that, we're going to head over to Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills, which is where Stan Laurel is laid to rest, and we're going to go and visit his grave. Now, when Stan Laurel lived here, he was not in the greatest of health, but he loved people and he loved keeping people entertained. He loved being in touch, and he actually had his name and phone number in the phone book, and he accepted calls from fans. He would write back and forth with fans. He had a kind of a writing desk in his apartment and a typewriter, and he was very big into stationery and all that kind of stuff, but he loved keeping in touch with people. And a lot of people came to visit him here when he was living here. Names like Dick Van Dyke, Jerry Lewis, Peter Sellers, Dick Cavett wrote a really nice article about visiting Stan Laurel here. Also, while he was living here, in 1961, the Academy decided to give him an Oscar for it was a special Oscar for contributions to film comedy, and he was too sick to show up to the award show, and Danny Kaye accepted the award on his behalf, and it was brought to him right here. But Stan Laurel passed away in his apartment here at the Oceana February 23rd of 1965, and this was just a few days after he had suffered a heart attack. Now, today it would cost around $5,000 or more to live in one of these apartments, but he was not the only famous person that lived on this stretch. I'm actually shooting about 4 or 5 different videos, so stay tuned. But now let's go over to Forest Lawn and pay our respects to Stan Laurel. Here we are at Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills. We've done quite a few videos from this location. There's a lot of people buried here. John Ritter, Debbie Reynolds, Carrie Fisher, Michael Clark Duncan, Bill Paxton, Bob Barker. I mean, the list just goes on and on. This is one of the biggest cemeteries in Los Angeles, and this is where a lot of famous people are laid to rest. But this is one of my favorite things here. They have this massive mural that video doesn't do this justice, but this is just amazing to come and see. Stan Laurel is just over here, off of the main walkway, just to the right. He's on the wall here. (1890 to 1965), a master of comedy. His genius in the art of humor brought gladness to the world he loved. There's his wife, Ida. And people have left various photos of Laurel and Hardy, some flowers, other trinkets. And if you can see the mountains and the Hollywood Hills right behind the wall here, just a beautiful place. If you ever visit LA and you want to see some really beautiful cemeteries, this is where you need to go. But hopefully you learned a little bit about the life of Stan Laurel and appreciated these locations. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care, everybody.